All right, everybody, welcome back to Scratch the Vinyl. It's honestly, it's Lincoln's best new music podcast. I mean, it is the premier podcast that Lincoln has been missing for quite some time. And if there are other podcasts out there, I salute you. For those about to rock on podcasts, I salute you. But this is our show, so we have a guest this time. We have a guy who I know from, it's kind of like different circles. He was in a band with my lead guitar player, which is really cool. And I've actually played on a couple bills with him. Believe it or not, I'm sure my sets weren't memorable, but his were. And so we have our guest is Matt Lehnart, everybody. Matt, how the heck are you, man?
I'm doing really well. Thank you guys very much for having me on.
Right on, man. I instantly thought of you when I saw all this stuff, and you were posting about the new Tanks bar and everything. And I hadn't seen you playing in a while, but I know you do still play a little bit, so I definitely want to get into that. But we'll kind of do that process here in a little bit. But right now, Matt, what we like to start with, we like to start this show with like quotes and lyrics, because music means everything to us, and I'll bet it means everything to you. So I had a quote or lyric I wanted to bring to the table. I was, rolling around, doing the whole 80s video thing. The sun was going down, and all of a sudden Duran popped on in my playlist. And I mean, like, it doesn't get any better than Duran, but I was listening to Ordinary World, kind of tear in my beer type scenario, except I wasn't drinking and driving, of course. And it came to this lyric, and it really hit me. So it came in on a rainy Thursday on the avenue. Thought I heard you talking softly. I turned on the lights, the TV, and the radio. Still, I can't escape the ghost of you. I mean, does it get any better than that lyric, everybody? I mean, honestly, that is gold right there.
Well, I would say it's right up there, but I would have probably a couple favorite ones to share as well.
Yeah, for sure, man. Well, Randy, you're kind of my resident 80s guy. Like, I can just imagine Randy with like a slice of pizza in his hand, like a girl on the other side of him. It, like, listening to this stuff, getting all teared up in the 80s. What do you think about it?
Well, I am a huge Duran fan, but that song, Ordinary World, that was like one song that everybody didn't realize that it was Duran. They had such a sound and a image at that time, MTV and all, and Ordinary World was kind of a different thing for them. And it was because they wrote the song about losing a close friend. It was a song about loss. When you go back and you can listen to those lyrics you were just talking about, it really strikes a chord. And that song, just the music and the soundtrack to that song is really powerful to me.
And you were saying that there's a documentary on Netflix with Duran.
Yeah, Randy pointed it out to me, and it's not even really that long. It's not even like a full hour. It's almost an hour, but it's really like if you have time to sit through it, it's like one of the best music docs I've watched in a while.
Yeah, they're at the point now where they've losing another member to the band, and it's kind of nostalgic, but they've still stayed fairly relevant. They actually just performed in our area here a couple months ago, and I wish I could have went to see them, but that documentary is great. So I recommend anybody go check that out on Netflix.
Well, the highlight of it for me, I was telling Randy, was when they're sitting in their car right at the beginning. The boys are sitting in the car, they're listening to their first demo, basically on a cassette tape, and they're sitting there and they're critiquing it. And I'm thinking, like, their crappy demo in the 80s sounds better than all the work that I've done here in 2024.
They were sitting in the car that they used to all travel. That is like their tour bus. They still have this car that they used to all travel together with. And sure enough, they put in that first demo cassette. It's like, wow. It's great nostalgia for those of us who love the 80s MTV days.
Absolutely.
You drop it off at the radio station when it's like has the marker on it.
Yep.
What it's called. Yeah.
Back when you could get the DJs on the radio to play your stuff for you.
reminds me of all the crappy vans that I drove around. We called them the misery machines instead of the mystery machine because they were all like, it's basically like all my child support and everything was was not paying for this crappy vehicle, and these things were barely putting from town to town. But we made it there. We had a lot of memories. I hit a box full of tinsel one time and dragged it across this town. And it looked like I hit Santa Claus, so I crushed a bunch of people's dreams. So, yeah, that's what happens in the misery machine. They didn't have that, I'll bet. So, Matt, you said that you might have some lyrics or, I love that when the guest has something. What do you got for us that really stands out to you that you could think of off the top of your head?
Yeah, my kind of niche for music is the red dirt and Texas country, that really doesn't get a whole lot of radio play. Occasionally it does, which is great. And I'm a big Americana guy too. So, Jason Isbell, along those lines as well. But the first one I have that I was actually, and I have them both actually tattooed on my forearms. That's how much they meant to me. But the first one is actually by Mike McClure, who has had a fantastic solo career, in my opinion, but was the front man for the Great Divide back in the 90s in their heyday. And of course, they are doing reunion shows right now. But this is actually from one of Mike's original songs. And it's the lyrics are, everybody's searching for the end of the rainbow. I'm just trying to smell the rain. And, I think when you get out of college or school and you're starting a career and you have this image of success in your mind that it's material things and money and that kind of stuff, to me, searching for the end of the rainbow, that pot of gold is kind of what you're conditioned to do. But really what we should be doing is, taking in the experiences and just trying to smell the rain. So that's one of my favorite ones, just to kind of, keep perspective.
Man, I love that because the rainbow, when I was a little kid, I'd always like, oh, I'm going to catch it. I'm going to find it, because it's not really, you're not really going to get there, but it's the idea of it and to smell the rain and just to enjoy where you're at right now is 100%. I love that quote.
Yep. Between Jason Isbell and Mike McClure, they're absolutely my two favorite songwriters. And I'm a little bit of a self-proclaimed music snob. To me, a great song is lyrics that hold water without the music behind it. And that's just kind of what I'm after. And that's kind of, unfortunately, the standard I hold myself to when I try and write something as well.
I love that because we talk about that all the time on this show about kind of what music means to us. And we get in these conversations about, is it lyrics first or is it music? And what we find, of course, that we all connect to the lyrics and then the sound really comes afterwards to most of us. And so I love that take on that song.
Well, and what's interesting about it is, the mention of like a rainbow, for example, right? Music's so beautiful because it is all poetry. They're just different poets, painting with a paintbrush. I think of other songs, Chasing That Neon Rainbow, right? A completely different way of looking at Rainbow by Alan Jackson. Then you've got Merle Haggard with Rainbow Stew. I mean, these are all different takes, but they're all looking at the same thing, looking at this thing that we've all seen and putting it to different lyrics, to a different thought and equating it to something else. I love that. What you brought up, Matt, those are awesome lyrics, man. And I agree too. I'm a snob in a lot of ways when it comes to lyrics as well, because of that reason, because I just care about the poetry so much more.
Agreed.
Even the sound, like if you can take a song, we've talked about this too. You can take a song with the lyrics and do it so many different ways. It could be country, it could be rock. I mean, you could take it and make it your own. But those lyrics, it'll hit you either which way, but it depends on how you can hear it as well. But those lyrics are what make the song.
Yeah, the name of that song, the title of that song is just Remain, Remain, again, by Mike McClure. So I would certainly invite you to check that out.
Hey, Matt, I have a question for you. So
Please.
We talk about this a lot because this is our podcast about music. And we've all talked about what it really means to us, music. And I would love to know what music means to you personally.
It's interesting journey for me, I guess, into music and especially into bands. I come from a small town, from the Sand Hills, actually, originally. So, when you live in a town of 2,000 people and you have a graduating class of 60, you kind of do everything, if some of you guys can relate to that. So not only did we do every sport all 3 seasons, but we were also in choir and marching band and all that stuff. So I had a good grounding just in playing music and understanding it. If you'd asked me when I was 14 and my mom was making me go to piano lessons, I'd have had a different story, but I certainly appreciate it right now. So, that certainly was the basis. But when one of my best friends to this day came from just south of Dallas, Texas to college, and we became roommates, he brought all that red dirt Texas music with him. And I just absolutely fell in love with it. And we were certainly lucky enough at that time to have those bands touring through Nebraska. So to me, that part of it is nostalgia for me. It's college days. It's good friends. My journey into actually being in a band was, I very offhandedly mentioned to my wife at some point that, I think maybe one of my lifelong goals will be to learn how to play acoustic guitar. And lo and behold, that Christmas, she got me from Dietz downtown, when it still existed, a Fender acoustic starter pack, and it came with a DVD that showed me how to play the chords. And I fortunately took to it pretty quickly, and probably shortly after that is when I met Cain. But I said to myself, I'm not sure why I shouldn't start a band. That's what I did. I got on Craigslist and started putting out feelers. And actually, our mutual friend Kevin was a friend of Cain. Who am I thinking of? He's the one-man band guy, Drunk Monkey.
Don Cole.
Yes, my gosh, yeah. So that's how we came across Kevin. But yeah, it just really kind of took off from there, and I really shifted music at that time to my escape. It was my hobby. I grew up hunting and fishing. I own golf clubs. I didn't get as much joy and pleasure out of those things as I did playing music. And so it's that release, it's that escape, it's that pride, to be able to put together a good set list and have people enjoy it. So that's part of it for me, definitely. And then on top of that, obviously, it's going to be a super generic answer, but the right songs at the right times, whether it's for the soundtrack of a good time, for a memorable moment, something to bring you down after a long day. That's really where I find that is there are songs that I call that are Zen songs. There's a Jason Isbell song that's one of those, and I just like those to ground me and kind of bring me back to reality.
I love the songs that you can listen to over and over, and they never get old because they mean so much to you. My kids sometimes get pissed because they're like, "Mom, you've listened to this over and over again," but it's a nostalgic or feeling.
And really the golden nugget, and I feel like I've been fortunate enough to find some of those. And unfortunately, the younger generation doesn't get this because they will go, make a Spotify playlist or download a track. But there are X number of records for me that are no skippers. You can start it from track one, and everyone is good from front to back. And that's an album that's a keeper that, yeah, I will definitely burn up and wear out.
Well, Matt, that leads me to one of our next questions that we usually like to follow up with is, we're big vinyl people. So we all relate to having that record collection. Are you a big vinyl guy? You got some albums?
I wouldn't say a big one. I do have a record player that I was lucky enough to inherit from my father-in-law. He just didn't see the need for it. And just being into music, I'm like, absolutely, I will take that. Also from a buddy, 20 years ago, before I knew what I had, I was able to buy very inexpensively a very nice pair of like 70s Pioneer main speakers. So I have the gear. I don't find the time to sit down and be able to put one on, but I appreciate it. Of course, it's a sound like no other, in my opinion, but most of what I'm doing, unfortunately, is through Apple playlists and in the truck when I'm driving around.
Well, that's okay too. I mean, playlists. I'm a big playlist building guy. I have at least 6 playlists. I would say 2,500 or more songs. And I just like to hit them on shuffle all the time, like no matter, depending on how I feel. And so I get that. Like, so what? Give us an example. Maybe you're not scratching the vinyl, but you are kind of getting the old shuffle on those. Like if you're shuffling through, give us an example of like what your playlist would kind of come across if you just hit shuffle.
Yeah, so it's going to be not to beat a dead horse, but it's going to be Americana and Red Dirt. So there will be a ton of cross Canadian ragweed. There will be Jason Boland, Pat Green, a lot of my favorite Americana artists. Obviously, we mentioned Jason Isbell, a huge Shovels and Rope guy. That's a husband and wife duo that do kind of folk music there. And I feel like I'm late to the party, but I've made it a point to really start discovering Tyler Childers songs as well. So, and I'm really digging that. I actually took the time to look up a few of those chords and learn a couple of his songs. So
I think when I came to your practice space, you guys came to one of my karaoke shows one time, and we partied over there. We didn't party, but we ate pizza and talked. And I can remember, I think you actually turned me on to listening to Jason Isbell, to be honest with you. I remember us having that conversation, and I remember like popping that in immediately the next day when I was at work. And I was like, man, Matt was right. Like this guy really is the legit deal.
And again, if there was a gold standard, in my opinion, for lyrics that hold water without music behind them, I mean, it is true poetry. And it's amazing to me that he will write about some really hard stuff and still make it beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think you covered it perfectly, man. I mean, it gives our listeners kind of more of an idea of who we're talking to, what we're working with, and that's what the crux of this show is all about, right, guys? I mean, it's just you nailed it. Is that this is a musical experience for everybody. You're into Red Dirt, you're into Americana, and that's there's no wrong answers to what music you like, right? But everybody seems to come together and like music for their own reasons. So I thought you gave a great answer on that, man.
Well, and I'll throw in, obviously, I'm a 80s and 90s kid, so you will never offend me with some hair metal, because that is near and dear to my heart, and any of that early 90s grunge stuff that we grew up with. I graduated high school in 96, so that gives you a time frame as far as what was going on in my formative years there.
I'm right there with you. I love all of that. Same time. That's the nostalgic thing with me. I love
absolutely. We've had and we'll get into this, I know, but I have been down at the South location at Tank South, which is formerly the Grotto there at 27th and Yankee Hill approximately. Owner asked me to kind of be the house sound guy there. So I'm typically there every weekend just to make sure the bands get hooked up and sound checked in. But there's a great band that's kind of a blend of some bands. I'm sure you guys probably know the name Pasty Jenny, but the lead singer of that actually coupled with three guys out of Omaha to form Wrecked Jenny. And that's what they do. They do 80s, 90s rock, a little bit of 2000s in there. But I would just give a plug to those guys that if that's your time frame in your music, if you can check their shows out. Actually, we have them this Friday at the South Bar. So if anybody is interested in seeing some really good live music and see how crappy I mix a band, come out this Friday.
That's what sounds awesome. I wanted to go out there so bad. I live clear on the other side of town, but I'm going to go. One of my friends, Lee Bose, he was out there a few weeks ago, and I should have went and saw him, but I was out of town. But I want to go check that out. I think everybody that's been out there, they say it's a beautiful place. You have it set up so, I mean, it's just awesome.
Yeah, it's, and obviously previous ownership, a little history on the floor plan. It was 2 commercial bays, and they had one next door that was really a party room, and it was separated. But at some point they opened that up and put a stage in there. And that was probably one of the better things they did, in my opinion. But what I really love is the new ownership at Tanks is absolutely committed to having live music. And, we know as well as anybody, that's hard to come by in Lincoln, especially on that side of town. So I'm super proud that we have that and we have it consistently. And on a separate note, Lee Bose is excellent people. I've known Lee for a couple of years now and met him through playing at church. Lincoln's a small music community, that's for sure.
It is. It's just a small town community of all of us musicians. We all know each other in some way, shape, or form. But I do want to say this for you Northsiders. I heard that we're building a wall to keep you guys out of our side. You can't go unless we accept you into our side.
But you always have to steal all of our talent from the north side.
Yeah, we bring them in. Yeah, of course. Come on over.
Can of Worms has been opened.
I can't count to M, but I can break open in a car, get your keys out.
That's why downtown used to be the dividing line. We kind of, it's everybody could come together on O Street to see their favorite bands. We love hearing that we've got some new venues and some great new places for Lincolnites to go see live music. It's been such a journey over my life to see the change all over town and where people go. And
You have another location, right? So
Yeah.
well, I want to hear. Yeah, let's hear about that too.
Let's talk about that real quick. So we are not open yet. We're under construction, and as I told Cain via Messenger, there might be some fun construction noises, but I'm right next door to it right now. So when we get to the end, or whenever you guys say go, I would love to walk over and give you guys a video tour of it. But yeah, it's going to be a second Tanks location called Tanks Country, dedicated to country music. I mean, that's what it is. That unfortunately limits us as far as bands. But, I think Lincoln, since we lost, Uncle Ron's and Kyle Willie's and those kind of things up on Cornhusker, it's a hole that, we have not had. We are going to be in a prime location right in the cube, right in between Gate 25 and Longwell's on the first floor there. So if you guys remember, it used to be a marketplace. There used to be like 4 counters when you walked in, and there was different vendors. We have taken over that whole space. It's about 4,600 square feet. And then the icing on the cake is going to be, we will have 3 vendor windows out to the cube, which for special events at PBA and football game days and those kind of things is going to be something. So we expect to do a lot of business with that, but just our normal business is going to be catering to that country crowd here in Lincoln, and all ages obviously, but we plan to harness kind of the local and regional talent for those bands, and super excited. A little bit about it. It's going to sound super cliche, but that's what you do when you open a bar. So we're going to have sponsorship from Jack Daniel's. They're going to have their own dedicated corner at one of the ends of the bar. So we'll have your Jack Fire shots, et cetera. And they're doing a really cool black and white wrap in that corner behind the bar. My understanding, too, is we're going to have a life-size statue of Jack Daniels, and it's supposed to be the only one west of Nashville right now. So kind of cool selfie opportunities. Caddy corner in the bar, actually Crown Royal is going to do that particular side of it. So we'll have a Crown Royal bar over there. And then the vast and majority, which I would probably say is 2/3 of the counter service, is going to be Busch Light is sponsoring that. So I'm not sure if it gets more country than that, but obviously that's the nail we're trying to hit. And then the last corner in the bar, there's a stage built right now. We were also very lucky to inherit the former sound system that was installed by a good friend of mine, actually up in Vega, so right above us before they closed. So we're going to have a custom TVI line array system that's going to be up on our stage. So hoping to put out a really, really quality product when we do have live music in there.
All right, now it's my favorite portion of the show, of course, is when we mention our sponsors and those who believe in us enough to keep us going. So first off, we have Sly Ink Tattoo here in Lincoln. Bryce is the best tattooist around. Stop going to Becky's Boring Ink Emporium and getting those, tribal tattoos like I got when I was 16, and get something cool that you really like my Friday the 13th tattoo that I have on another arm, or a couple of my other tattoos that Bryce has done personally. So get those. Also, Liberty Contracting. Stan Liberty is a world-class guitar player for Pasty Jenny. He's also a world-class concrete guy. So get your concrete work done and get a hold of Stan at Liberty Contracting. Roots Music Shop, musicians, those who love music, those who just want to get their instruments fixed, go down to Roots Music Shop, talk to Ryan, get those instruments fixed, buy those used and new instruments that he has, and he also has vinyl records. So get those there while you can, everybody, and tell Ryan that Scratch the Vinyl sent you. And last but not least, we have the Elegant Sasquatch. That's right, the Elegant Sasquatch, #1 in the beard game, if you ask me. They're a smaller company, and they do small batch beard work in product, but it is something that you want to get into. So we're going to run the Elegant Sasquatch commercial right now, and then we will be back at it.
Hey there, human friend. Are you tired of your beard looking like a bird's nest after a windstorm?
Whoa, what? Who's there?
It's just me, your friendly neighborhood Sasquatch. I couldn't help but notice your, rustic beard situation.
Right? Thanks for pointing that out, Bigfoot. But what can I do about it?
Fear not, my follicle challenge friend. Introducing the Elegant Sasquatch Grooming Company. We specialize in grooming products that'll make your beard as majestic as a redwood tree.
Elegant Sasquatch? Sounds fancy. What do they have?
We've got everything a discerning Sasquatch or human needs to keep their facial foliage in top condition. Beard washes to cleanse away the forest grime, beard balms to tame those wild whiskers, beard oils to nourish and hydrate, and beard butters to make it as soft as a bunny's fur.
Wow, that's quite the lineup. Why should I choose the Elegant Sasquatch, though?
Because, my friend, we believe in sophistication for our outer beast. Just because you're a Sasquatch or a human doesn't mean you can't be classy.
I never thought I'd hear a Sasquatch talk about sophistication. All right, you've convinced me. Where can I find these products?
Head on over to the elegantsasquatchco.etsy.com and use the code SUPERSHOW to save 20%. Your beard will thank you.
Thanks, Sasquatch. I'll make sure to check it out. And hey, maybe next time we meet, my beard will be as elegant as yours.
Now that's the spirit, my friend. Happy grooming.
Man, I gotta tell you, I owned some bars in downtown for many years, and there would be people would come to me all the time and talk about wanting to open a new bar downtown and stuff. And I always said, what we need is a good country bar downtown. You know, we got a lot of kids that come into our city that hang out downtown and they're all small town kids. And they love the country scene. And you were spot on with what Uncle Ron's and Kyle Willie's used to do. And I mean, they used to pack those places with really good country bands. And I said, there's no place downtown that has a dance floor that big, but there is a missing niche in country. And I said, and everybody's like, well, why don't you do it? I go, I'm just not a country guy, or I would do it. But I always said, the right person comes in and does a country bar like that, like an Old Red right now, in downtown, is going to kill it. So, man, I think you're on the right idea. Definitely.
Yeah, and I certainly can't claim the idea. I was just kind of picked as and I'll be doing this part-time. I'll still be maintaining my commercial real estate career, but doing, as if you own bars, if it's a full-time gig for you, it's going to take over your life, and you're not going to see your family on the weekends, which is what I'm not trying to do. But our owner saw the opportunity in the empty space down here and kind of had the vision of doing a country bar. And I think we will make the rent on game days, and then we're just going to have fun the rest of the time, and again, provide something that's been missing for, are we talking a decade here? And I hate to take Single Barrel out of the mix, because they were doing shows and doing them well for a long time, but with them obviously not in the mix anymore, then there's a pretty significant hole to fill.
Well, there was them, right? Then there was Rosie's Downtown that kind of did it a little bit, but it was like you guys are filling the void that they do need down there. There are a lot of country fans, and think about how rocking this place is going to be if, say, I don't pick anybody. If Garth Brooks is playing across the street and then people come over there and just light it up, it's going to be absolutely out of this world. It's going to be an awesome venue.
Absolutely. And we're going to do obviously everything that we can to promote and host pre and post parties at PBA, but that's not to say if there's a good country act out of Pinewood that you can't come down and hang out with us afterwards.
Man, so what about the other place? So you guys are so they're going to have two locations. You're going to have the one in the south, and that's going to be where you're going to have like local band, like rock bands and stuff. Like you were talking about Wreck Jenny, for example, with Greg Lee. That's the lead guy. I mean, I've been watching the videos you've been posting. I mean, it looks like people are going nuts out there, man. It looks like people are having a great time, and you guys really have the formula down for. And you should too, Matt, because you've been in it like I have. You've seen how bars have failed with it. You've been in the crappy shows like I have. And no offense, like I'm happy for all that we do, but it seems like you guys are doing it right. Like you guys are putting all your chips in music and getting good accents. So I appreciate what you guys are doing. But we'll talk about Tanks Country, but let's talk about the other Tanks bar again for a second. Now that Tanks bar and guitars, right? Is that what that's called?
Yeah, so I think the owner is attempting to switch over to that. When you pull up to the venue or the restaurant, you're going to see just Tanks.
Okay.
It started out as Tanks Bar and Pizzeria because we do kind of feature some specialty pizzas, but it seemed real early on that the way we were going to feature music, he's trying to get at least our social media changed over to Tanks Bar and Guitars. That restaurant and bar, it's a bar and grill, right? That happens to have a stage in it. And, it's a different age group down there. We're 27th in Yankee Hills. So most people that walk in the doors are probably 30 to 50 and they're there to have a couple drinks and probably eat dinner. But it's a nice combination of being able to offer that to that area of town in the community. But then 8:30, when the bands kick off, man, we turn into a live music venue. So I always feel bad and feel like I'm tiptoeing around if some people, 2 tables away from the stage that are still finishing their burgers, but I hate to blow them out of the place. But for the most part, we've had really, really great feedback on the live music that we've had.
I love the videos that I see too. Just like you guys are all having so much fun. And you have all the small towns around there too that I know they come in, like Roca. And I think it's a great location, and it's yeah, it looks like I love watching the videos. And I met one of your bartenders one while back, and I was asking about it, and she goes, I love it there. I love it so much. I love everybody I work with. I love my boss. I love and so I was going to go see her, and I haven't got to get out there yet, but I cannot wait. Like, I'm so excited. I always tell my family, say, live over there. I'm like, we got to go to Tanks. We're going to go to Tanks. So where we want to go. And they love music, live music. So,
well, first of all, just obviously make sure everyone goes to the bathroom and you gas up your car before you head this way, because you don't want to have to stop on the way. But 2, I would love to know who that bartender is, because I'll give her a gold star for the good referral and promotion. But the other thing I was going to add, just to the live music portion of it, and Cain, you can relate to this for sure. One of the things that I'm really proud to offer for bands coming in is a full front of house system. So, one of the reasons I kind of have walked away from doing the cover band thing that I did for 12 years is my back hurts, and I'm 46. And the last thing I want to do after singing for 4 hours is load out a PA, so we have a full 16-channel digital mixer, front of house subs and mains, and then we do have 4 powered monitors that we have in house too, and then hopefully a competent sound guy and myself. So I'm pretty proud to offer plug and play for the bands that we do offer to come in.
that's amazing, because being a Band-Aid, it sucks having to carry all the equipment and help. And I mean, it's just enough when you're tired. I think that's so important. I think that's cool that you have that out there. We'll have to promote that to bands, because I know Cain, I mean, everybody, they appreciate it.
Hold on, Brooke. We got to cover something here real quick. Okay. You mentioned Band-Aid. Okay. Is that like a mixture between a groupie and a roadie? Like, is it like a roadie who, instead of just doing like all the sexual stuff, they also like put the gear around? Where were these people when I was doing stuff?
They're my friends. And it's like when you need help and you're bleeding and you have a Band-Aid, you just help them out. Here, I'll help you carry all this. And pretty soon you're sucked into it and you're like a big cast. But no, you're the cast of the back room show. Oh, the backdoor show.
Oh no, don't do it. Don't go. I don't have the rubber chicken to save us.
Cain, I could tell you 2 things. One, I know there's a difference between Band-Aids for rock bands and Band-Aids for country bands. And I could tell you absolutely for sure, there is 0 Band-Aids for karaoke guys.
For real, man. Yeah, there was never any. We were band-aids to each other, Randy. Like that's all
I
we.
help a little bit.
I hate tearing down day to day, show to show. Man, I just want to leave it, come back. Oh, I hate it.
You need a good mule. You know what I mean? That's what you really need.
You guys want to move up in the rotation? Yeah. You guys move up in the rotation? Y'all got to carry a speaker out here at the end.
Yeah. You want a drink from the bar? Well,
I do want to move to this, Matt. I think you're being modest on, or humble, I should say, or either one, on you being a musician. You know, I witnessed you. I saw you play, multiple shows. I watched your band, and I watched you as a lead man. And honestly, I always thought you did a great job. I thought you had great presence. I always liked your style. Your style was very kind of nonchalant, very just calm. You know, like me, I was like a guy who just snorted a bunch of cocaine and ate a bunch of pizza. So our paths are different, man. But let's talk about your time as a musician too, with loose affiliation and that type of stuff.
Yeah, so that's a great times, and I was super lucky to maintain really the same guys for the vast majority of that time. I had, when I initially started the band, again, Craigslist and referrals and those kind of things. So my first bass player and my first lead player did not work out, but once I got Travis, who was my drummer, Blake Lowenstein, who still plays bass for me, and of course I had Kevin for, I think, 10 plus years as well. That's half the battle, right? It's just being seasoned and knowing your set list and knowing what to expect from your bandmates. And I was lucky to have that. So great times. We were all pretty much family guys for the most part, with kids and jobs and those kind of things. So I don't think that we played out enough to get the name recognition of like a Pasty Jenny or a Dylan Blue Man, who are they're road warriors. They're out every weekend, but we never wanted to do that because we had families and kids at home that we needed to be with too. So that was just a really, really good time. Still some of my best friends that I would say. Unfortunately, loose affiliation really came to an end when Travis, my drummer, took a job in the Phoenix area. So he moved about a year and a half ago, and I saw that as a good opportunity to just take a break and kind of figure out what I was going to do. So I still have Blake Lowenstein on bass. And then I had picked up a couple new guys. One's going to be probably pretty familiar. Jake Brandt, who is or was the lead guitar player for Evan Bartles when he was still local before he moved off to Nashville. And I don't know if you guys keep up with him, but he's doing great things. I think he's on a European tour right now as an opener for someone very significant. And then again, just a great referral. So one of my best friends has become in the past probably 6 to 7 years is Mike Simrad, and that's a name most people will recognize. But he was able to refer me to someone he knew about who had recently moved back from Colorado to Lincoln, which is where he's from. His name is Tom McKee, and I have snagged him as a drummer at this point. So we are a full 4-piece again. I'm working on a new project. Again, I kind of told you I was over the 4-hour shows, but what I haven't done and what I'd really like to do is do the downtown scene. And that would be 45-minute sets with 3 other bands, mostly original songs, and just hang out and have fun. So, the 1867s, the Duffys, the Zoo Bars, that's kind of what we're really focusing on right now. And yeah, it'll be a handful of my originals that I've written, and we'll throw in some Jason Isbell, and you'll hear some Tom Petty, a huge Tom Petty guy. And the name of that band is going to be A Worthy Adversary, and that comes from a Big Lebowski quote, if you guys are fans of that movie. So when Walter's talking about the man in the black pajamas, he's a worthy adversary. So we're all Big Lebowski fans, and we think that's going to fit in really well.
White Russians for everybody.
We're going to have that at the country bar, just out of principle.
Well, Matt, I don't think we could thank you enough for coming on today and filling us in with what's happening around town. I mean, that's what our show's about, is trying to inform people about what's happening here in Lincoln musically. And man, I feel like you've got your finger on the pulse right now. And we really appreciate you coming in and sharing your time with us today.
Oh, guys, it was my pleasure. I was unaware that this was going on, but I commend you guys for taking the time to do it. And anything that we can all do as a community to make sure everyone knows kind of what's going on, that's going to be fantastic for Lincoln. So
Let's let Matt have an opportunity now to kind of just do a little bit of promotion. Whatever he wants to promote, we're going to give you that forum right now, Matt.
hey, I appreciate it, guys. So once again, thanks so much for having me on today. So yeah, I will shamelessly hit both locations. Tanks South, we are at 2755 Jamie Lane, just to the south of Duteau Subaru, for reference. Typically live music every Friday and Saturday night starting at 8 p.m. So definitely come down and see us if you're in the mood for some live music. But more exciting is our new location, hopefully opening up end of July, but for sure beginning part of August. Down in the rail yard. Again, we're going to be right on the first floor in the cube in between gate 25 and Longwells, and that is 350 Canopy Street. So come down, especially party with us on game days, and we're going to have your live music fixed down here too.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Matt, for being on the show. We really do appreciate you. I hope to have you back on to talk more. You know, maybe we can get you or some of your bandmates on when you guys are hitting it. But just get a hold of us, man. You can be on anytime. Anytime you're on the show, you instantly become a Scratch the Vinyl legend, and no different. So,
Plus, we'd love to promote any bands you got going. We think it's so vital to keep people connected to what's going on with live music in town. We just think it's so important to keep our local business, going strong with entertainment. It's what makes Lincoln, I don't know, I've been doing it for 35 years in town, and I love to see this kind of thing happening again. Man, I'm so happy for you. I love what you're doing.
Hey guys, I appreciate it. Yeah, I would love to come back on. So if there's a good time or you have a slot that needs to be filled, you just let me know, and I will, babble on about something else for 30 minutes. Hey guys, thanks so much.
thanks a lot, man.
Thank you.
We'll see you on the other side, Matt.
Great. You guys have a great day.
All right, so that was that was an awesome talk with Matt. Matt Lehnart once again. He's world class. He's just a great guy to talk to in general. Like, I imagine he's like my brother that I always wanted, where we sit down and maybe we just like enjoy a beer together and talk red dirt country and all that stuff. But he was awesome, wasn't he?
He was. Look at, man, just having now 2 new locations in Lincoln, both South Side and downtown, where we're going to have some great new venues for live music. I think that bodes well for the city, and for what we love to do is help promote, great music in our area. And we got a first look at Tanks Country, and we really appreciate Matt for coming on and giving us a great interview.
So we have some big stuff coming up here. We're doing a lot more. We're doing a lot of timely stuff. We have our big benefit coming up, the Scratch the Vinyl on Spina Bifida at Kelly's Pub here on the 21st. It's Sunday, July 21st. It starts at 2 p.m. and goes till, who knows? I mean, till the police kick us out, right? It could go forever, but it may go just from 2 to 6. We'll see.
Who's playing? Let me hear who's playing, Cain.
I heard, I heard Led Zeppelin was coming, and Pink Floyd said they were in, and then this weird band called the Lawn Cash Band decided they were coming out of retirement, and then everybody dropped out of the show. But we have world-class musicians that came in after that. So, I want to tell you guys, we've been practicing in my bass player's really hot garage, and we've been getting all sweaty, drinking a couple beers, and it's just awesome to go back and play. I thought when I had my heart problems, I thought I would never stand up and sing and play the guitar ever again. You know what I mean? Like, I thought it was over. When I got a pacemaker, I thought, oh my God, I won't even be able to play an electric guitar anymore because I thought it would interfere. And here we are, guys. I mean, here we are years later. I'm still standing. And we're going to be playing, and I'm pumped about it. It's going to be an awesome show. We have a loaded bill. It's just going to be a blast. So I hope people come out.
Oh, it's going to be so much fun. And it's at my home bar, Kelly's Pub. If you've never been there, you got to check that out too. It's a really cool little family bar. It's a great place to have our fundraisers. We have our bands playing, good awesome people that work there. And I can't wait to see you, Cain, and we appreciate that you're coming out to do that.
It's going to be awesome, man. Randy, do you have anything wild planned? I mean, are you planning on wearing like a special wig or something for this event?
I don't know yet, but I'm going to say yes now that you brought it up. But now we look forward to, seeing everybody come out and support Willow and help us fight spina bifida. Look, Kelly's Pub, it's a neighborhood bar. We help everybody, and we're going to help Willow with spinal bifida on this one. Come and help support us, everybody.
Well, a little update on Willow. Willow's back from her surgery. Everything went well in Philadelphia. She's now had a cast put on her legs so that maybe they've tried to straighten out her one of her feet a little bit because it was kind of like curved in because of lack of being able to use. And that seems to be going well. So, I mean, I think with everybody's help on this benefit, I think that it's going to help the family to give that little push. And Willow, with cards and just people's, if people want to give anything, we're probably going to have some things to raffle off as well, donations. Just give them words of encouragement or just come out and be encouraged and just talk about it. You know what I mean? Just bring awareness to the fact that there are people in our community out there hurting and have things going on. And I'm just so glad that I have you two in my corner pulling for all of this. And we put this together at an amazing bar with Kelly's Pub. It was an awesome show. Like all good things, this one good thing has to come to an end this week. But tune in next week, everybody, for what we're talking about. Hit it, boy.
Let's go.